Today we get a chat with Mark, the vocalist of the band Gozu, discussing the upcoming release, Gozu VI, which will be out May 15th. I hope you enjoy.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks.
I was gonna say good morning, but it's probably good afternoon where you're at.
Yeah, it's noon. Yeah, where are you at?
I'm in Idaho, in Boise, Idaho.
All right. Yeah, we'll be there in June.
Oh,
We'll
are
be.
you? I
Yep.
didn't think I saw us on the list.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now. I believe it's June 4th. I believe. No, June 5th.
At which venue?
Uh, the Shredder. Does that sound
Ooh. Oh,
familiar?
yes.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, I thought when was looking at the tour,
Uh,
uh I was thinking you were going Salt Lake, Seattle, Portland. We usually get skipped and I didn't see us on there. So that's perfect. Awesome.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, good.
I'm
June
pretty
5th. I'll
sure.
have to remember that
Yeah. Yeah.
so I can come
So
and
I'm
see you
Gaff,
guys.
by the way.
Okay. Nice to meet you. I'm Nika.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Day going good so far?
It's been a little hectic, but okay.
Yeah.
That's
That's
all right.
how
That's yeah. Fridays have been like crazy busy lately, so
and
that's
how
all.
it goes when you have a release coming out, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that and then work and all that other lovely stuff that you're dealing with is. But I'll take it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I'd rather be busy than just sitting here pounding my head
Yeah,
against the stuff.
I say
Yeah.
often an idle mind is like one of the
Oh
worst
Christ.
things us humans can
Yeah.
have, which is so weird. If we have time to think, it's never like
Yeah. Right.
the
Yeah.
wonderful things. It's like catastrophizing
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. It'd be great if the mind went to that. Oh, remember that time you had that great ice cream sandwich? No.
No,
You know what I mean?
oh,
It's like, do you remember? You're like, ah. So yeah,
yes,
that's all right though. That's all right.
yeah. I went to a show last night and
Mm,
so my I didn't get like a whole lot of sleep and so my brain is still somewhat trying to wake up from
got
because
it.
at this age a
Yeah,
show in the middle of the week is brutal.
yeah. I'm not a spectacular sleeper. So if I get like 5 hours, I'm fine. Usually
Oh my
5 or 6, I'm
gosh.
good.
So when you're on the road, is it worse or is it better or about the same?
Oh, yeah. On the road, I don't know. You average maybe 3 hours a night, maybe
Oh
four.
my
You know,
gosh.
yeah, because it takes a while, just to decompress and usually, it's I'm right next to Doug, the other guitar player. So uh, yeah, it depends. You know what I mean? You have four dudes in a room. Um, sometimes, yeah. Usually, I'm the last to fall asleep. Usually, everyone else is sound asleep, and I'm just like Jesus, just reading or something to trying to get my mind to take somewhat of a hiatus. But yeah, and a lot of times too, after, we'll drive or, depending on how long, the next ride is, we'll either get a few hours or we'll just stay in the city, where we're playing. So it totally depends.
Oh my gosh, I would lose my mind. I think I would not be able to function at all. I can't even I probably got I probably got 5 or 6 hours of sleep last night
Uh-huh.
and I still feel like I'm struggling. I can't
Still
even imagine.
exhausted?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I have to get my sleep. You said you read at night. What are some books that you like to read?
So on tour, what did I read last tour? Last tour I read the drummer from Black Crowes, Gorman. His book was amazing.
Oh, nice.
I read a few of the Jeff Tweedy books, and then I read the Steely Dan book.
Hmm.
Um, oh, and then I read both Mark Lanigan books.
Oh, I heard those are good.
They're really good. Yeah,
So
I thought.
usually music inspired or biographies or
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
memoirs.
yeah. It depends, or something. Just I'll watch like a movie or something just to try to let my mind kind
Right.
of go in that different direction. Yeah, it totally depends on the state you're in. I think at that moment, but
Sure.
yeah, I do enjoy reading just to kind of, you know what I mean? Hopefully, and then, as you get older, right, your ears are like, so,
Yeah.
yeah, the decompression period can be good, and it also can be like, oh boy, here we go again.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but I'm
No,
used
I'm
to it,
a right. Yeah. Yeah. I am a big reader, so I'm always curious
Oh, wonderful.
when I get to talk with other people about books. I get excited.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I enjoy it.
yes. Since we're on, I usually bring up this topic later, but since we're on the topic, what are some things
Uh-huh.
that you do for self-care to help with balance, to help? I mean, because sleep ain't it. So,
Yeah.
what are some things that you're
Um,
doing to help with
yeah,
your
so
mental health?
yeah, so I'll bring stuff to work out. Um, meditation for me is key. Obviously reading, and then I work on the road also.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh my gosh.
yeah, yep.
I
So
said
yeah, so
self-care, not
no, it's all right. I work on a master's program,
Oh, okay.
um, so I could do the work, in the van. So most of the
Yeah.
stuff is Zoom, so I could speak to students or whoever. A lot of it is via text and email and such, or Zoom meetings. So yeah, I'll sit in the back, and I don't work every day. I'll take some, but that actually makes you kind of kick yourself into gear.
True.
Uh,
What do you
yeah,
teach?
I don't. So I counsel. So I work with like athletic training students,
Um,
like sport management students, criminal justice,
oh,
like applied sport analytic, and then I also oversee like a rad tech program, a surge tech program. So so yeah, so I'm up. It doesn't matter what time you go to sleep. I'll usually start work like around 8 a.m. in the morning.
wow.
So that actually kind of just lets me go on my way, and then you know it kind of just everything else kind of shuts off for a little bit, and then you work, and then shut off, and then go
Yeah.
in. You load in, do your sound check, and then you wait. You, you try to eat something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Usually sound check, you're there between like 4 or 5.
Mm,
And then you go on at 11 o'clock. It's a lot of time to. So try to keep yourself busy other than just bellying up to the bar, and all of a sudden you've had 30 Jack and Cokes. It's probably not the best way for
You've
your
forgotten all
downtime.
your lyrics.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, yeah, So yeah, no, so yeah, I try to keep myself busy, walk around, see what's going on, or yeah, but I'll bring stuff on the road, to stretch and work out,
Smart.
just to keep, the body because sometimes also, you're in a van for like 7 or 8 hours. So, as in your 50s, stretching is a must. you know?
Absolutely.
So yeah, my as opposed to years ago, what I used to do to what I do now is kind of night and day
Oh, for
in a good way.
sure.
You
And
know,
it creeps up on you.
yeah, 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 yeah. You get tight, or so yeah. I try to be more human-like, shall we say, to her now than I did, years before, which seems to and then also I try not to, just with my voice and things like that. I try to,
Yes.
treat that, with some tender loving care, shall we say?
Yeah, which is super important, especially when you're on the road. And
Yeah,
you do have different vocal styles from different, like song to song. So
yeah,
I'm sure like keeping that exercised is extra important since you aren't just a one trick pony, you know?
yeah. So I do a lot more like breathing now, and where before I would just literally just go out and sing, but now you know, I've learned some different things to do, to definitely to get it warmed up, to get it ready, which has helped me a ton, which has
Awesome.
absolutely helped me a ton. So yeah, I'm much more cognizant of doing that thing now again than, but yeah, it just feels better. Definitely breathing, and where you're singing from. I mean, lesson wise and stuff. It's all stuff, that I've read or my daughter had taught me a few breathing techniques and a few warm up techniques. So
Nice.
I try to use those now.
So does she sing as well?
Not so much anymore, but she's an amazing vocalist. I mean, her voice is
Oh,
spectacular. Yeah.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, let's dig into the album. It's a fantastic album so far. You guys have released two songs. Um Banachek is what's that?
Oh no, yeah, yeah. Two songs as of now. Yep.
Yes. Banachek is such a fun video. That's
Thank you.
something I have noticed in the like I mean, you guys don't fit specifically under stoner rock, but under the stoner rock umbrella,
Hmm.
there are some bands that really like to have fun with the videos,
Yeah.
which is interesting and funny because usually the songs are pretty either dark or deep, like Red
Oh
Fang.
yeah, they're very yeah.
Yeah, so it's like having
Yeah.
fun while you're
Yeah,
also like
yeah,
doing.
you have to. You know what I mean? Yeah, because yeah, because you don't want to get in that kind of downtrodden. Yeah, I mean the lyrics, they deal with some heavy stuff, but hence why we have the song titles we do. But yeah, the videos we just want to make it fun. No one wants to
Yeah.
sit there and just you have four guys staring at each other, right, and be like all pissy and oh
Yeah.
god, the fucking the world's going to end tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you have to find some. And we don't take ourselves to the point so seriously, where it's not fun. So
Mhm.
yeah, so that video, Christ, I think we did that in like 5 hours.
Wow.
So we did it on a Monday, and I know we delivered to Metal Blade, I think, on a Friday. So Jim Ford, the guy who directed it, was amazing. His whole team was spectacular. Like Doug came up with the idea of the whole chicken, so we were just like, fuck it. So we went with it, and it was fun. I got to wear an
Yeah, it looks
ascot,
like
and I got to. So I
uh,
enjoyed it. It was a
uh
good time.
yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch. I can only imagine how much fun it was to make.
Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah, it was simple too. Like nothing hard about it at all. I mean,
Yeah.
every shot was just like bang, done, 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 done. So
Yeah.
yeah, it.
That's
I
awesome.
we loved it, and it was so quick. And we shot it. So Doug, the guitarist, he just opened up a new restaurant bar in Somerville,
Oh,
Mass. So that's where we shot it.
perfect. Oh, well, that worked out perfect then. That's
Hmm.
great.
Yeah, it was great on all accounts.
Yes. I also want to talk about They Did No Karate. I think that one's my
Yes.
favorite. But
Oh,
it's a heavy one. Tell me about
yeah.
that one.
So
Emotionally, not so much musically.
no, yeah. So emotionally, yeah. So I was going, I've gone through some heavy, heavy kind of things in the past few years, and when I wrote these songs, so I usually write. So usually, I come up with the music first, or Doug will come up with the music, and we send it back to each other. This was the first time. I mean, I was living in this fucking awful apartment by myself, and so I would literally, I'd work, right, then I'd go to a gym, work out, come home, I'd eat, and I'd play guitar, and then I just, I would go lay down, and I kept a pad right by me, and when something popped in my mind, I would just write. Right? So I probably had like 50 pages of just all lyrics, and I would put like chorus, right, or a verse or a bridge. So when it was, so when we had all the music finally taken care of, I went back through, and I literally just would literally at night just read and be like, holy fuck. Like, so, like, did I write that? And so what I did was when I wrote that song, that was one of the ones where it was like verse, verse, verse. And then there was a chorus that I was thinking of. I was listening to like a lot of all over the place. Listen to like a lot of Christ, from Bonnie Raitt to Journey to World Party, to like Allman Brothers, Marshall Tucker, uh, I was, Skinner, things like that. But I wanted something for that chorus that really kind of hit. And so when I had written, a chorus, I wasn't sure exactly what. Then as soon as I had the music for that, I knew I was like, oh, let's take this one, and it fit. And then the stuff at the end, that was all just done in the studio.
Wow.
Because I couldn't write that, you know what I mean? So that was literally what came into my mind when in the studio. Like I knew some, obviously phrases that I wanted to use and such, but I didn't sing any of these songs until we got into the studio. So the
Wow.
first time that anyone had heard any lyrics was actually in the studio.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So for every tune that I would go back and just I literally have my sheets and I would just flip over and be like, oh, let's. So yeah, so it's the first time I've ever kept anything that I've used. Because usually what I would do is, I'd have the lyrics, I'd have everything, and then like a week before we go in the studio, I'd rip everything apart, be like, I fucking hate this, and I would just
Oh.
literally, I'd write the whole, all the lyrics in like 20 minutes.
Mm.
So this time, I want, I know I had some things in there that were obviously very emotionally, charged and deep. So it's the first time I ever felt comfortable enough to kind of use those lyrics,
Yeah.
and singing them was that was heavy.
Yeah.
You know, because again, the content is not, it's not something right after, right? You want to go to and dance and have a
Right.
great time, right? It was one of those ones where, I sang them, it was just like, Jesus Christ. But I felt, I needed to be like, I can only sing stuff that I know about, right? Like, so, I've never fucking driven a dune buggy through the desert. I've never fought a dinosaur or, fucking went toe to toe with a dragon, right? So I can only sing about shit that, to me, uh, it has to be honest, and I have to be because I can't go up and sing something that is just some ridiculous stuff that I've never gone through. So
Yeah.
this album for me emotionally is heavy as shit. Like
Ah.
we just played, last Saturday, we played 5 of the songs out, and man, playing them was
Oh.
pretty heavy. Singing them
Yeah.
was really, you're definitely wearing your heart on your sleeve when
Yes.
singing those tunes. That's my favorite song to play
Mm.
by far. I mean, I love all the ones, but just I love how the everything flows in that from verse to chorus to the bridge to the ending. Um, that one, yeah. I mean, I recorded the vocals pretty quick for the 8 songs. Like I did all the main vocals in a day, um, and then I did all those overdubs in like a day and a half.
Wow.
So yeah, but
Yeah.
I knew what I wanted to do. Like
Yeah.
I knew exactly. I had everything set up. So I knew like when I wanted to do a call and response. I knew when I wanted to double. And also Benny Grotto, who engineered and produced and mixed the album. We had done Locust Season with him, and so even before we got in the studio, I would he and I would text, be like, "Hey, I'm looking for this. I'm thinking about trying to do this." So even like microphones, I said, "Hey, I'm thinking about." That's what I got in. There's 4 mics set up, and we were able to pick the one for the main vocals. Then we knew what we wanted to do for the background vocals. So everything was really kind of set up, and so that way, when I got in, it was like done. Okay, let's double that. Okay, I'm gonna
Right.
I'm gonna do a harmony on this part, and then I'm gonna do this and this and this. So yeah, so when I got in there, I knew exactly what I wanted to do.
Makes sense.
Uh,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
because you don't want to be there fucking around, especially
Right.
it's and blow your throat and stuff out. So,
Of course.
yeah, I don't ever listen to any of the Gozu stuff, just because I'm a touch critical. But this is the first album where I don't mind putting it on. I mean, I have to anyway, just to remember
Yeah.
the songs. But
Right.
but it's the first time like I actually don't mind listening,
Oh.
to the tunes. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
No, it makes sense. So with the heaviness of the topics and the emotion that it brings out in you, um, first of all, how are you going to protect yourself night after night after night with that heaviness? And there's going to be people that are coming up to you and potentially
Yeah,
relating stories and things.
sure.
Also, did you feel like you got some catharsis with being able to finally just get it out there?
Yeah, I find for me, it's probably the best form of therapy that I could, go through. Yeah, it's I think everything that I've written, especially the past few albums, just because there's always fucking shit going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so from a cathartic point, yeah, I mean, it's probably the easiest way for me to get it out because
Yeah.
you're not going to walk around talking about that shit. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Or so for me, it's definitely it lets me get my thoughts across um, in a very matter of fact way, but also I'm not like pinpointing one thing. Yeah, that's one thing, right? Like I had shit for Equilibrium. There was we were playing and a guy came up, he had tears in his eyes. He's like, "Hey man," he's like, "I was going through a divorce and I would listen to this album every goddamn day." He's like, I thought about doing this shit enough. He's like, so the guy gave me like a huge hug, and I was like, hey man, thank you. Like my dad had just passed away, fucking like I don't know, like 3 weeks before we were supposed to record that album.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not just kind of writing for. So obviously it's writing for me, but I know other people are going through some heavy stuff, especially the shit that's going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
So I just wanted, if it could help someone, to find relatability, then that's kind of how I feel like, okay, I've done my job,
Yeah. Well,
you know?
music is such a healing thing, and I've said this a million times, that it's a language we speak globally. It's the
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
form of art, not the one, but it's the
No.
most
Yeah.
influential form of art that we can get. Yeah, like
Yeah.
that it's there when we need it, when no one else is there and everything. And so I
Totally.
think it
Yeah.
is so important to be able to have that during the difficult and dark times. I had interviewed Arvid from Greenleaf in
Hmm.
one album, Echoes. I can't remember what it's called now. Echoes. I can't remember the rest of the title, but in that one, he was going through a divorce, and that album was about like all of that. The second time I interviewed him with this last release, I was
Hmm.
going through a divorce, and so I was like, "How weird!" Like this weird, like
Yeah. Right.
full
Yeah. So
circle
yeah.
moment, like not a good one, but also like just the human experience of we're all like experiencing some things globally and some things
Yeah.
individually, and so being able to create music to help people get through those times has got to be like such a blessing.
Yeah, and I think more about it now than when I was an 18-year-old guy. So yeah, it's I just find the more honest you are, the more it gets through to people.
Ah, yeah,
So
absolutely. I also wanted to talk about Midnight Express. That
yes,
has like a Alice in Chains Soundgarden kind of feel to me. Like it brought me back to the 90s.
yeah,
Beautiful
yeah,
song. Tell me about that one.
sure. Yeah. So that was the first tune that I had written and sent to Doug. Um, and it. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm a huge Soundgarden fan. I'm a huge Alice in Chains fan too, and I just love that style. I mean, vocally,
Yeah.
those two are, they're on their own island.
Hmm.
There's no one, singing like those two. So yeah, the guitar riff, I came up with, and then I wanted something that was a little bit more, for the verse. A bit more kind of sensitive, shall we say. It's something that I could, just really kind of sing over. There was a much more breathier style. And at the end, yeah, it picks up, very kind of Soundgarden-esque. That's great that you picked that up. Bless you.
Yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
it's such a fun album because while it's very consistent, there also is enough changes. I like albums that like that keep me on my toes, that every song is going to give me a different experience. I mean, they did No Karate. That whole song in itself and is a journey. Like that's one whole journey of a song. And then you have all the songs that are surrounding it that
Right.
are different enough from each other that you keep engaged, you keep interested.
Yeah,
And
you
it's
try. Yeah.
yeah, it's a fantastic album. I'm so glad to hear that you guys are coming here. Now I'm excited because I was so bummed. I was like, oh man, we're getting
Yeah.
skipped again.
Oh, and yeah, something like Cornellaria, we'd never written anything like that. That was one where, I sent to Doug, I remember it was like a Tuesday night or something, and I just came up with a boom, 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 bam, doo. And then, I had some, just like the first opening, lines of that one, and he was like, Jesus Christ. He was like, that's a fucking sad tune. And
Yeah.
so yeah, so I definitely tried to go way out of my wheelhouse on this. Even like Corvette Summer is different than anything that we've done. And I was very cognizant of kind of endings of these songs. Where did we kind of want to take them?
Right.
You know, that one I was listening to like a lot of the Gap Band, like that tune Outstanding. And so, I don't know, for some reason at the end, I was like, fuck, I would love something in that, kind of a realm, because you're in this phase and then you go to something totally different. So I was happy that, we were able to make that kind of a nice fluid, change from where you are into all of a sudden a little bit freer, shall we say. So
Right.
yeah, there was definitely stuff. I don't. I like heavy music. I don't listen to like a shit ton of. I grew up on like Maiden and Van Halen. Priest.
Mm-hmm.
Sabbath. I mean, I loved Ozzy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Of course.
you know what I mean. But I listen to way, 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 different types. Like before this, I was in a seven-piece soul band, right? We would open up for like Parliament
Oh.
Funkadelic. Same thing with Doug too. So I tend to listen to a lot more like Sly and the Family Stone, D'Angelo,
Yeah.
uh, Prince,
Mm-hmm.
things of that realm, and then I love like Todd Rundgren, Crushed Stills and Nash. Like, Neil Young is one of
Mm-hmm.
my favorite. So the four of us, had very, very. We like what we like, but then each of us definitely has stuff that we love.
Huh?
I was Grateful Dead, things like that. So I think one thing about us is that we take all of our influences and we're not afraid to put them together.
Yes.
Which I think some people dig, some people don't, such as life. But
Yeah.
I think that that's what a lot of people like about us is that we just don't hit you for an hour of the same fucking songs. You know what I mean? There's
Yep.
definitely, I think for us, the groove is the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't shake your ass, then why are you coming? You know what I mean? Like,
Uh,
so yeah, I mean, it's got to hit you in your section, right? So you can hopefully, feel a little sassy. So, so yeah, so I think, we do draw from influences, and in my mind, I've always thought that we're kind of like a heavy soul band.
yeah,
Uh,
I like that. Well,
yeah,
and I mean, soul for a few different reasons, soul also has
exactly.
that
Yeah,
emotional impact, so it
yeah, yeah,
makes sense.
totally, totally.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I know you are super busy. I really appreciate you taking this time with me, and
Oh,
I'm super stoked to be able to go and see you. I'm
yeah,
again
yeah,
so pleased to
yeah.
see that.
If you want to hit me up, and I'll put you on the list when we play there.
Awesome, thank you. I have a awesome photographer as well that
Beautiful.
sometimes we
Okay.
team up with reviews and
Oh,
pictures
great.
and stuff. So
Wonderful, wonderful. So that's great.
awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I hope the rest of your day goes really well.
Thanks. Take care. Have
You
a great
too.
weekend. Bye bye.
Thank you. You as well. Bye bye.
Bye.